Oh, so your mom's visiting? Oh, I didn't know she's from Palestine. I didn't know you were a Jew.
Sorry?
What?
Wait, what did you say?
Excuse me. What do you want?
Did you just call that person a Jew?
It's none of your business.
Dude, you can't do that.
What are you talking about?
What is your problem?
And don't touch my phone again, Jew.
You can't say that! I'm gonna hold a rally over your insensitive behavior!
Oh my gosh, dude. Who do people frickin' think they are? I'm so done. Perfect. This will show these bigots to keep their hate speech out of my apartment complex.
Keep your hate speech out of my apartment complex. Keep your hate speech out of my apartment complex. Keep your hate speech out of my apartment complex.
Happy late Valentine's Day, my young Stainies. Qbake here, and I'm back again with another video involving racism on a college campus. Before we start this video, I just want to make a quick announcement. I don't want my channel to be solely focused on making videos criticizing leftist or progressive media, and I don't plan on it. I want this to be a variety channel where I do a lot of comedy and parroting along with these critique videos. Originally, I didn't know what I wanted to do, which is why I started with Dishonored 2 Let's Plays. Look at the animation when I run, oh my gosh. Now I have a clearer vision of what kind of videos I want to make and where I want my channel to go, but I haven't really been able to start going in that direction. The reason being, I keep seeing ridiculous political-esque events in the current media, like the topic of today's video. And most of these issues are time sensitive. For example, this video is about what occurred on a college campus on Valentine's Day. Meaning, if I want to make a video on these topics while they are somewhat relevant, I need to focus my efforts on making these videos first, and pushing my other, more creative ideas to the side for now. The reason I am sharing this is because I want input from Stain Nation. I usually don't get too much, if any, feedback on my videos, but just want to know if people enjoy seeing these critique videos or if I should shift my focus to some new ideas. Because I do still get a lot of enjoyment in making these videos, so I do plan to continue. However, I don't want to if my audience finds it repetitive or wants to see something new. Alright, with that all out of the way, let's move on to today's topic. College Republicans apologize after anti-Semitic Valentine draws university condemnation. Brought to us by BuzzFeed News. Ugh, off to a bad start already. I just love how clickbaity and completely disingenuous this article title is. If you read the article, the group Julia Reinstein is discussing is known as the College Republicans, but of course the average reader isn't going to know that. Consequently, at first glance, it paints all Republicans in college as anti-Semites rather than just the group.
But Qbake, she is just saying the name of the group. Quit nitpicking, you Trump-supporting pig.
Okay, sure she is. But she definitely knew what she was doing with this title. Now I know many people before me have criticized clickbait titles, so I won't beat a dead horse, but I think it's fair to show how insincere Reinstein is in her article. To sum this article up briefly, a group known as the College Republicans at Central Michigan University had a Valentine's Day party on Wednesday, February 8th. After this party, one guy from the group didn't want his bag full of goodies, and without giving the bag a thorough checkdown, gave it to a fellow student. A student by the name of Madison Rodriguez Eberth, the president of the Organization of Women Leaders and a self-proclaimed feminist. Inside the bag was a Hitler-themed love letter, which, to be honest, didn't make me laugh the first time around, but the more and more I prepared for this video and reread this article, the more amusing I found it. Anyway, Rodriguez, being the responsible citizen she is, posted about this on Facebook. Who cares about integrity or being a decent human being when you can make a whole group look racist and intolerant? Please, Madison, as the president of your club, don't take the initiative to talk to the president of the College Republicans in private. Why would you do that? It's 2017. Expose those anti-Semites without any context. So, of course, this draws out all the news outlets. You know, the people who are supposed to be reporting on things that actually matter, but we all know that traditional media is just kicking and fighting for relevancy before they eventually all die out. And because of this, Madison Rodriguez got her 15 minutes of fame. She told BuzzFeed, "When I saw it being the Valentine, it really surprised me. I was so shocked by the message and upset that something like this could happen at my campus." You were shocked by the message? The message is quite clear. Someone loves you with the equivalent ferocity and passion the Nazis had for annihilating people of Jewish descent. But if you're a feminist, I understand how someone loving you that much could be confusing.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Alright, enough of the edgy humor. Please don't dislike this video. I do have an actual criticism with this statement, specifically when she says that she was upset that something like this could happen on her campus. Excuse me, but do you even live on this planet? How can you be surprised someone made this joke? People have some pretty messed up senses of humor, and college campuses are a pretty big place. She goes on to say, "I'm a huge advocate for equality for all people." What equality is being infringed upon here? The Valentine isn't calling for people to kill Jews or even glorify Hitler. Instead, this is trying to look back on the Holocaust in a humorous way. Now, whether or not this Valentine accomplished that depends on your sense of humor, but this isn't inciting any violence or wrongdoing. The Valentine isn't trying to bring back the environment under which the Holocaust took place, making Jews be viewed as inferior. So I'll ask again, how does this affect anyone's equality? After Rodriguez posted this on Facebook and talked to the media, the college Republicans responded. They explained how each member was supposed to bring in a decorated bag which other members would place Valentines in. In other words, people didn't know what was being put in their bag. This aligns with the male student's obliviousness when he gave Rodriguez the offensive card. Next, the university president, George Ross, got involved and deemed the Valentine unacceptable and whatnot. Obviously, you can't disagree with what the president did. He was just doing his job and protecting his school's image. What happened next absolutely blew my mind. Following the incident, CMU students held a rally against hate speech on campus. Oh my God. This Valentine is not hate speech. It's a joke. Hate speech is defined as speech which attacks a person or group on the basis of attributes such as gender, ethnic origin, religion, race, disability, or sexual orientation. As I stated before, this card wasn't an attack, and it wasn't calling for any harm to Jewish people. It was a joke. Maybe a joke in poor taste, but that's completely subjective. You can't dictate what people can laugh and make jokes about. The irony is that by continually mislabeling things as hate speech, these people are devaluing the word. Constant usage of a word makes it lose its punch. You become callous to it. The day after it was announced that Trump would be our 45th president, a hate crime was committed on my campus. In one of the dorms, someone wrote on the door of a black student, quote, "Trump, letter 4, prez nigger," end quote. Now, upon hearing this, I was genuinely shocked. As far as I know, there was no real media coverage of the event, maybe besides the local news. Don't quote me on that. But Madison, and for those of you watching who disagree with me, I have a question for you. Would you really want the Hitler-themed Valentine and the attack on a black person to be lumped into the same category? Would you really want a joke about the Holocaust and someone harassing a black student to be on the same level? Sure, one may be considered a hate crime versus hate speech, but you see my point. If you value the term, you shouldn't throw it out so willy-nilly. I could make a similar statement about the people at CMU deciding to hold a rally over the incident. Just as with language, participating in an activity over and over makes it lose its power. Is hate speech reasonable motivation for a rally, especially on a campus? Sure, if it's actually hate speech, but as I discussed earlier, this is clearly a joke. This is why people on the right sometimes refer to leftists as special snowflakes and don't take them or their rallies seriously. It doesn't seem like there is a legitimate reason for this rally. I also want to clarify that I suspect Rodriguez isn't Jewish. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but it isn't mentioned anywhere in the article, so I think it's safe to assume this is the case. I mean, I definitely think she would have used that to her advantage during the interview with BuzzFeed if she was. Anyway, Being offended is a choice. While a black person being offended over being called a monkey might be instinctual, someone getting worked up about a race-based joke not directed at their race is definitely a conscious decision. While the Jewish community at CMU did respond by saying they were deeply concerned and disappointed, they were not the ones to start this rally over hate speech, but rather Rodriguez's group. I am well aware of being able to defend other races against discrimination, but it is entirely different when you play the part of the victim on behalf on who the true victims are. Even though Miss Rodriguez ended up possessing the Valentine, she wasn't the group that was being made fun of. If you read the whole article, which I implore you to do, not once does she describe her empathy for the Jewish community on campus or Jews in general. She is simply taking this opportunity to play the victim, and people are buying it. Finishing up the article, we can see that the card was distributed at the party by a woman not even enrolled at CMU, which I think is a perfect ending to this ridiculous story. Let's pretend for a moment that this wasn't the case. Let's pretend this Courtney actually meant to give the Valentine to the guy who ended up giving it to Madison. Maybe as some sort of inside joke. Would it really be that big of a deal? People have terrible jokes that they enjoy within the comfort of their friend group. No one in the article disagrees that the passing along of the Valentine was not intentional. So what if Rodriguez just understood it was a joke she disagreed with and tossed the card aside, or simply asked the college Republicans about the card in private? However, none of this happened. Rather, in poetic justice type fashion, a non-student of CMU put the Valentine in the bag, meaning that there was technically no, quote, hate speech, end quote, committed by the campus or anyone associated with CMU. I just love how the article tries to put the college Republicans in a bad light, but in actuality does the complete opposite. If you read through this article, critically I might add, you can see the irony. Rodriguez felt that, quote, this wasn't something she could just push aside, end quote, and in doing so made a fool out of herself and the entire university. In conclusion, a random accident occurred at CMU, and in the process, Miss Madison attempted to play victim of hate speech when she simply overreacted to an obvious joke. Maybe instead of posting the card on Facebook, she should have had the maturity to throw it in the trash. I'm sure that would have saved many CMU students and President George Ross a huge headache. Once again, I appreciate any stainers or non-stainers who took the time to bask in my glorious thoughts. If you have any comments about the topic or how intolerant I am, please let me know down below. Feel free to join Stain Nation and subscribe to my channel. Don't smash the subscribe button, please just a gentle click of the mouse will do.